Shubor nakaslem jong unongsan Hima.
President ka Meghalaya Pradesh Congress Committee uba Vincent H. Pala habay kren betkilak patay kubor ha Congress Bhawan hanne kasngi ulapan pau ba Shim Jingkitkhlieh haladi ya ke Jingshah rem jong kaseng ha ke Ilekshon Shiteng Samoi na ke lightly ki constituency ha ke jelah nakaliang uba Vincent Pala ulo ongru ba ke Jingshah rem no jong kaseng kadai nakadaw jong ke jingmi kinong elam kaseng banyakun hakani ki election Shiteng Samoi na baro lightly ki constituency nakaliang uba Pala ulo ongru baladangi pet ya ke jing yo vote jong kaseng habaro lightly ki constituency kahebha banya ki weipat kiseng lagadai habaurang keneng mauplang ne harajabala.
In my absence, actually from the office, we have already organized our senior member in the party, Shiteng, and also Kong Amprin. They have given a press conference. So whatever they have said, I endorse whatever they have said. I am here only to clarify if you need something more. But as a president of the party, though I joined on 18th of September, and the election was declared on the 30th of September. So I take full responsibility for the defeat. In spite all the hard work by our candidate, is one of our candidates, both the candidates on the way. We work very hard as a team. Penchkanya and Kong Amprin were in charge of Morankeneng, and King Fa and Charles Manlar in charge of the Mauplang constituency. And of course Karol's Zenit and Martin Sangma were looking after it. So they work very hard, and if you see as the vote share, very unfortunate that our own people has made us defeat, because our own MDCs, one from Karo Hills, one from Kasils, and our own office bearers contested as rebel candidates. But if you see the overall, had they not contested, we would have won the election. And not only that, even though vote share has increased, if you see compared to all the three constituencies, Congress has maximum votes compared to NPP and UDP. So when you take all those views, all those analysis, you see that the people of the state for the by-election, especially the constituency, they are with the Congress. But very unfortunate, somehow me also, I just joined as a president at that time when the election was announced. So I could not prevent the rebel candidates. So maybe it's my failure. That's why I said I take a full responsibility for all the failure, the defeat we have done. And at the same time, I would like to thank all my workers, especially the MDCs, the MLAs, the office bearers of all the blocks and the districts who work very hard, including Zenit, Dr. Nkul Sangma in Karo Hills, Kong Amprin, Ba Penchkanya, King Fa, and Ba Charles, and even Ba Charles Pengrup, they work very hard. But you know, normally a by-election is always used to be managed by the ruling. When we were in the power also, we won many of the elections. So all over India, so the trend is like that, because people still expect that maybe in the ruling they can get something for the village, for the areas, and people expect that maybe lots of scheme pendings and all, which the present government, which they promised them half done, or if the candidate wins, maybe they can still manage to clear all those. So normally that is the expectations and the perceptions of the voters. But in spite of all those, if you see there's a trend of very much increased. For example, he joined Congress just after the death of David. So I've seen personally, I mean frankly speaking, there's always a gap between his supporters and Congress voters, because during the election at that time they fought very hard on each other. So I think even in the last elections, and frankly truly speaking, I think that thing did not, we could not match it properly. That's why maybe one of the major, which we have been defeated in Morankeneng, if I'm correct. And now, since he's in the party, we'll try to work for the future election. so that how can we work together. You have traveled more than me, and then many the areas you covered. We have done so many interactions during the by-elections. So if whatever I can answer, what is the new work in Mount and the candidate here, there so they can participate in the question and answers and clarification. So thank you. It's not infighting within the Congress, actually they defected from the Congress, especially some of party workers defected. For example, like Mao Klang, a member who was a very senior member, he defected and fought election. So also in Carol, it's a very senior member, both of them are MDCs. So that is not infighting. Even the fighting, they should have remained in the party, should not leave the party. But they went out because they thought that they will try their luck. So that's not that. I don't call that as infighting. Whereas in Mauritania, you have seen he was a very senior secretary in the bloc. He left. He tried to try his luck. So all these temptations were given by the ruling, and ruling. They saw that if they cannot do anything, if they cannot divide the Congress, if they cannot. I'm sorry to say the words might be they have maybe compensated them to fight the election also. Then they saw that we would have won the election. If you see in the vote share also, we would have won the election had these our own people have not fought against us. So I don't think it's infighting because they have been defected. For example, many of the people who have gone from us, they left us, but these people who left us, they left us in a very crucial time. So it's infighting. That means there won't be any campaign properly and all. But we had a very proper team. I used to monitor till up to 1-2 o'clock in the morning. So I think Vincent will agree with that. So we work together actually.
Habai kran bat ukertong jong kaseng Congress na mau plang constituency uba Kennedy Kriem ulapun pau ya kejing pediang jong ya kejing Sharem ha kini ke election Shiteng Samoi. Ula ongru ba kejing penlong kloy ya ke election kaya rap ya uba Jingshah ban yo ya kejing job namar ki pajba kidang don kejing sngow sen ai ya kejing kladno jong kupa jong Hanrei ula ongru ban nakaliang ke jong untrai shitam ban yo ya kejing job ha ki election kabanwan kata house nem hajar pulai. Nakaliang uba Highlander Karmalki ukertong ke Kongres na mau rangkeneng ula penpau ba ulaya kendu ya ki pajba nongkershan Pat Ushem, bah kabinet ke bakadu, nakaliang jongka National People's Party, kabadon ha kabor sensyar, kalawat kilat kelenti, ban job ha kini ke election. Ula ongru bah kejing yo vote, kalakiu sya kasispa %.
By election is concerned, it was a tough fight. It was a good contest. But the question here is, whether you got knocked down. It's not a question that we got knocked down, but the question is whether we get up to fight back or not. So here we get up and we fight back. We don't lie down just because we get knocked down. So last Saturday I called a General Executive Committee meeting of the Mount Klang Block Congress Committee, where many supporters they came. We accept defeat, but we are still in touch with the party, and we have started working from now for the next general election. That's what I want to say.
That's one in line with what I told you. I think maybe this is a one step where we have to look back and like what exactly you said, that we'll realize that where we have gone wrong, and that will make us stronger.
As for my constituency, I've already met my supporter in almost 25% of the villages. So we have already organized a very proper meeting that we are going to fight back again in the main election 2023. And people and the supporter, they are with us only. So in connection with the last election, actually we thought we have won, but at the last moment, due to some mistake, perhaps some the opposition party also mean NDP also they have used the full power how to put us down. So that's why how we lost. But when we see our votes here, as our president has said, it is rising. And as for myself, I have increased 100%. So there's no way that we should not fight again. So maybe this time we fight, we increase 100% of my last vote. And if we get another 35%, we will win. And surely we will try to connect those votes which we have lost.
For Moplan is concerned, I heard somebody ask me where it goes wrong, but I didn't answer that question. See, so far my constituency is concerned, Mr. S.K. Sun, the late MLA, he passed away on the 10th September. The election was declared on 28th September, after 2 weeks. And the election was on the 30th of October. 1 month. So sympathy vote was there, and it's very strong. That's number one. Number two, we are fighting against the government. You see in recent years, in this last 3.5 years, we lost so many representatives. But Don Shilla, his son got elected. Risubel Para, no, Clement, he's from? Silsila. He's a Congress, but we lost. We lost to the NPP. And then see Jingkitkhlieh, and then see Rajabala, see Moplan. Hardly the opposition party won the election. Because if a person votes for me, I win the election. I cannot give back anything to him. But he voted for the government, so they can promise many things. That's number two. And number three, as you know that Lam Prang Black, he was the fourth time MDC of the Congress from Moplan. He came out and fought this election from NPP ticket. So our vote splits. He got 5,000 plus, I got nearly 9,000. So if you combine his vote and my vote, we will be more than 2,000 against the UDP. So these are the factors that why we lost this election. But no doubt, we are working very hard for the next general election, hardly 1.5 years maybe. That's it.
As far as Moplan constituency and I think Jingkitkhlieh constituency or even the constituency of Self-Dishira where he is there, also Rajabala also, I think our people have unreasonably left us. You know, there's no reason for us to leave us, except they have been convinced maybe fair or unfair means by the ruling party. If you see, there's no reason for Black to leave, because Black is a CLP leader under this council, and also in Rajabala, he was then just elected in the by-election from Congress. So also the senior party workers in Sarangkam, he left us suddenly. He and me, we campaigned together for him for the first part of the election. So there's no reasons for them to say that the party has mistreated them or misbehaved with them. They unreasonably left the party, and they might have got the votes 5,000 or 7,000 or 1,500. But I'm telling you, the office bearers of the Congress did not join with them. Not even 10%. Hardly 6-7% left with them. That shows that the party is intact. In the future also we can still fight back.
But why you could not prevent them from leaving?
And prevent in a sense because honestly speaking, you know, when people plays with money and we are in the opposition, it's difficult to prevent, and suddenly which they have gone. So I think I had no doubt they will regret in their life. They will regret. One of them, I will not name him. On the next day only he called me, he told me, sir, I'm very sorry. I made a blunder mistake in my life. Because before he left, I called him. I told him, you know, you must have patience in politics. And then he told me, sir, I'll not contest. Later on, I think some compulsion by his uncle, he fought elections. So he called me, he said, I realize now, had I believed you, I wouldn't have changed. Now I have to start from the scratch. So like that, other people also. So even Babla, he did not take us. Babla just came and resigned. He did not tell anything why he left. He did not say anything. except but Babla and Bab Prestones have very good relation because of contract works and all of his family members. So they left the party, there's no reason, only they're trying to be convinced by the ruling party, rather than maybe blackmailed by the ruling party how to hijack them from us so that we can defeat. Otherwise they know that we would have won the election.
Some